So on this next problem, 16, you see that you've got a -2 uh, after the absolute value, and you have to isolate the absolute value. You have to get this part by itself. So we need to add 2 to both sides before we do anything else. So the absolute value of 3x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 8. Now we can take the absolute value part and work with that. Because it's greater, or you can have 3x plus 4 be greater than or equal to 8. That'll be one of the inequalities. Or you could have the 3x plus 4 be less than or equal to -8. So it could get really small or really large. Okay, so subtracting 4, you get 3x is less than or equal to -12. And x is less than or equal to -4. And then on the other one, you get 3x is greater than or equal to 4, divided by 3, x is greater than or equal to 4/3. And so you get for the answer an interval from -infinity to -4, with a bracket, because we're including it, union, and then bracket 4/3 to infinity. And so your answer should look like... Okay, so consider these 2 points here. This is number 17. Find the distance between the points. Write answer as exact value. That means we don't want a decimal approximation. We want like a radical notation, and we want it simplified. Okay, so the distance is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus, and then y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. And this comes from the Pythagorean theorem, if you were to draw a triangle and the points and stuff. Okay, so x sub 2 is going to be -2 minus -3. Then we want to square that. And then y sub 2, which is -3 minus 5. And we want to square that. And then we're going to get... We have to do the math here, so minus a minus, I don't know if you've seen that trick before, but probably, 1 squared plus -8 squared, so that's going to be a 64 plus 1, and so you're going to get the distance is equal to the square root of 65. Now 65 does break down, it's not prime, but 5 times 13, there's no square root in there, so this is it. That's the exact value. Okay, now we want those points. Let me write them down again. -3, 5, and -2, -3. But we want to find the midpoint of the line segment that contains those. So the midpoint formula says x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2. It's like you're taking an average, and y sub 2 plus, oops, not y sub 1. Y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. And it's not an equation, it's a point, okay, an ordered pair. Okay, so this becomes -3, that's your x sub 1, plus -2 over 2, and then 5 plus -3 over 2. And so when we do the math, we get -5 halves over, that's going to be 2 over 2, which is 1. Okay, this is 2 over 2. Okay, that was that page.